interrupt us.
Oh, I remember I met this girl, and she said, she was serious too. She said, you can only put the tip in.
Okay, hold on, don't move. I want to get my glasses.
Like, normally, Ron, that was a line that Ron Jeremy would use, like, with let me just put the tip in, and then, saying they're taking out 10 inches. But I had this girl, she said to me, only put the tip in. That's it. It was like, you have to be a man of tremendous self-control to do that, but, then you abide by her wishes. So, like, the sexual world outside of Torah is very chaotic, confusing, and people get hurt, and sometimes you think, I'll just do coitus interruptus, but you can still get the girl pregnant. And I'm glad that I've left this messy, sinful, confusing, hurtful world behind for the path of Torah and righteousness.
Right on. Okay, so the next question is from our viewer Manuel. You remember him? The one you made fun of?
One of the great Puerto Ricans of our time.
Probably the greatest, because he knows about Torah talk, so he's heads and shoulders above everybody else. Now, Manuel asked, do we have a concept in Judaism of ghosts? You know the answer to that?
Maybe.
Okay. The answer is yes, we do. There's many different types of ghosts that we have. And it's discussed many times in the Talmud that there's different types of ghosts that come for different reasons and they show up for different... But the simple answer is yes, we absolutely believe in ghosts. Maybe not the same way that non-Jews do, with their horror movies and all that. But yeah, we do believe in ghosts. Shindalids, yes. Very good.
Shindalids?
That's what they're called. Shading.
I'm sorry?
Shading.
These are ghosts?
Yeah. They're demons. That's one type of ghost. That's a demon that comes in the middle of the night and you can't see it. But it leaves footprints that have chicken feet, I think. Like 3-pronged chicken feet.
I had a friend and he met this stripper and
here we go.
They went home together and they did the wild thing and they went to sleep and then the next morning they got up and then the girl turns to my friend, who's a nice Jewish boy, and she said, "You're such a gentleman. You didn't come on my face while I was sleeping."
Thank you for taking the show to a new low level. Thank you.
That was a gentleman.
Thank you for that. Tor talks
so
with Rabbi Rabs,
the demons
and Willie talks
came
with
in the
Luke
night.
Ford.
The demons that came in the night, those are the type of guys that she was used to.
Get it, because the came, that's the pun. Well done, lady.
And they leave a trail?
They leave footprints. I recall something like, what you do is you leave sand out or something by the side of the bed, and then in the morning you'll see that they were there because the footprints will be something. I don't know.
He's such a gentleman.
Okay, lady, let's move right along. So
let's talk about my business.
Okay, we'll get to that in a second. I'm just trying to hit them with some heavy-duty Torah right away.
Sorry.
Okay, we'll talk about one more question from the viewers, and then we'll get into your business. How's that? Okay. Trying to hit them with the Torah, because it's Torah talks with Rabbi Rabs and Willie talks with Luke Ford. Now, viewer Reuben wanted to know what's the significance in Judaism of the beard. So I thought we would talk about it, especially because I'm one with a beard and you are not. So first I'll tell you about it, and then we're going to turn it over to Luke, and Levi will tell us his thoughts, because I saw that you made a video about it. And I thought it was really on the ball. So we're going to talk about your video. So try to remember what you said in your video while I talk, okay? Halachically, the bottom line, according to halacha, is you can't take a straight edge blade, a razor, and cut your face, cut all the shave. You can't shave. You can't do the Gillette thing, the best a man can get. You can't do that as a Jew, because that's a straight edge thing on your face, and that goes against one of the 613 mitzvahs. Is you don't round the temples of your head, and you don't cut the corners, mar the corners of your face or your beard or whatever. I don't know how you say it in English, but you can't shave. Okay? The rabbis have ruled that a electric razor, which I presume you're using, because you don't have that close masculine shave, is ruled to be like a fast-moving scissors. And a fast-moving scissors taking off your hair, that's fine because that's like trimming. So all you're doing is trimming, but at a very close to the face trimming. You're allowed to cut your beard. You're just not allowed to shave it off. Now, why do we go the other extreme? The other extreme is because you want to go beyond the letter of the law, and you're trying to show that, like, God has shown us that He doesn't want us shaving it off. So we see that He likes beard, so let it grow a little longer, But you try to make it shape nice. You don't need like the big ZZ top thing like Levi had, where like it was in your face, like look at me, I got a big beard, and go fuck yourself, right? And we only got 5 people left in the chat. Okay.
So your sex stories.
Yeah, ZZ Torah. All right. But a beard is a Jewish thing. Now, it's always been that Jews, from Jews, were always recognizable because we always had with the big beard, we always had the payas, we always looked Jewish. That was the Jewish look. And this is the way we always looked all through Europe. The Jew is always distinguished by his beard. The concept of not shaving is of shaving is a new world concept. That's a new thing. For millennia, Jews never shaved. And the Jew was always recognizable because of his beard. A beard is what makes a Jew look Jewish. It's a Jewish thing. It's brought down in the Medrash that the Jews were redeemed from Egypt for 4 things that they kept. One of the 4 things they kept is they kept the way they looked. They kept their appearances. They kept their Jewish clothes, their Jewish look, their Jewish, the way they looked, the way they dressed, the way they kept themselves. Today that would have, and it says that these are the 4 things that we should keep while we are in exile today. Today we're in this exile for the last 2,500 years. And in this exile, the things that will get us out, the things that will help to redeem us, there's the same 4 things. And one of those 4 things is the way we look. You know about these 4 things, right? Jewish names, keep your language, keep your Jewish names, keep your minhagim, and keep your customs, and keep the way you look. So when a Jew looks and stands out is recognizably Jewish, that's what God wants. That's what redeems us. When we blend, when we try to assimilate, that's when we lose that bracha. When we assimilate and try to be like the Goyim, that's when we lose that protection from God. Right? When the Jews assimilated in Europe, Rabbi Victor Miller writes about this. When the Jews assimilated in Europe, they were no longer safe from what was about to be unleashed when the Holocaust started. So this is what saves us in these times, is always looking Jewish. So the beard is a huge inyan. It's a huge thing in Judaism because it's one of the things that makes us stand out different and makes us, it's a tradition. This is what we do because we're Jews. Now, Levi shaved his beard off, right? And we talked about the reasons why he did it here, but he came out of like some new revelations because in like the last month, Matisyahu, who's, if you're not familiar with him, he's a wannabe. He's a Rab's wannabe, just trying to move in and do my thing. I think we talked about that 2 weeks ago, right? Last show. Levi, since that time, has put out some very remarkable video footage, and I wanted you to talk about that. What you talked about in your video, would you talk about that now? Your insights?
Yeah. If a traditional Jew grows a beard, he's either going to live up to the beard, or he's going to adjust his life to live up to his beard, or he's going to adjust his beard to fit his life. So if you're in traditional Jewish life and you have a beard, you're kind of expected to live up to the beard. You don't step foot inside tray restaurants. Maybe you don't even go to video stores or movies. There are a lot of things that you you don't do when you have a beard. There's like